do. Because here's the deal. I can do anything, be anything, create anything, dream anything, become anything. Because you believe in me. And it rubs off on me. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe in my classmates? Do you believe that every single one of us can graduate ready for college or the workplace? You better, because next week we're all showing up in your schools. And what we need from you is to believe that we can reach our highest potential. No matter where we come from, you better not give up on us. No, you better not. Because, as you know, in some cases, you're all we've got. You're the ones who feed us, who wipe our tears, who hold our hands, or hug us when we need it. You're the ones who love us when sometimes it feels like no one else does. And when we need it the most, don't give up on my classmates. Do you believe in your colleagues? Do you? I hope so, because they came to your school because they wanted to make a difference too. Believe in them, trust them, and lean on them when times get tough. We all know we kids can sometimes make it tough. Am I right? So whether you're a counselor or a librarian, a teacher assistant, or work in the front office, whether you serve up meals in the cafeteria, my favorite, or help keep the halls clean, or whether you're a teacher or a principal, we need you. Please believe in your colleagues and they'll believe in you. Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe that what you're doing is shaping not just my generation, but that of my children and my children's children? There's probably easier ways to make a living, but I want to tell you, we need you now more than ever. Believe in yourself. Finally, do you believe that every child needs to be ready for college or the workplace? Do you believe students can achieve? We need you, ladies and gentlemen. We need you to know that what you're doing is the most important job in the city today. We need you to believe in us, in your colleagues, in yourself. and in our goals. I want to thank you for what you do for me and for so many others. Do you believe in me? Because I believe in me, and you've helped me get to where I am today. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. Welcome to our July 18th, 2022 regularly scheduled school board meeting. We want to welcome all of our visitors and friends today. So if you're a school administrator, I've seen several. If you would just wave or stand so we can recognize you and your leadership team. If any people on leadership team are here, thank you so much for coming out. Always, we have a representative from the library and the museum. I saw Marianne Rickner. And Alan is not here, but Mr. Deputy Londons is here. Thank you so much for coming out. And so we will go right ahead. We did have our inspiration just now, correct? All right, that was quite inspiring. Sort of, and basically it says, happy end of summer. Get ready and believe. All the students are on their way back. All right, we'll start with our Pledge of Allegiance. We're led by the board members. If you would stand with us, please recite the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now we will have a treat. We don't usually get to have a treat by students during the summer, but we have Miss Josiah Taylor here. Tate, if you would come to the microphone over here, Josiah, right here. All the way down. She is a student from Rainey McCullough School of the Arts. And in honor of the month of July, she's going to sing a patriotic song. And we are ready whenever you are. Which microphone would you like?
This one's fine.
All right.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave, the brave.
Outstanding. Mom, family, friends, and supporters of Josiah, are you here? Please stand, wave. All the way. Thank you so very much. Great, great job. And Josiah is in middle school with such a booming voice. So watch out. Thank you again. We need a motion to approve the agenda. Moved by Ms. Buckner, second by Ms. Jackson. Hand vote. All in favor? All right, that passes. I've already recognized the visitors. Our public agenda, we do not have anyone scheduled for public agenda, but I will take this opportunity to read the monthly disclaimer that citizens are encouraged to address items on the board agenda or to initiate presentations of issues appropriate for school board consideration. The board meeting is not the appropriate place to review individual employee performance or individual parent complaints that have not been addressed by the principal or the superintendent. Citizens are encouraged to follow the normal channels to address such problems or issues, which is through the superintendent's office with Ms. Jones via email or telephone call. Moving into our action agenda. Item 4.01 is the re-election of professional certified personnel. Motion by Ms. Jackson, second by Ms. Buckner. Are there any questions about the personnel report? All in favor, voting electronically? Did it pop up for you? All right, Mr. Cantrell will abstain or just vote separately? You want to just abstain? I just abstain. All right. We're ready to vote. All right, that passes. Item 4.02, Superintendent is recommending the appointment of Ms. Tanya Carter to serve as Chief Human Resource Officer. Motion by Ms. Buckner, second by Ms. Jackson. Are there any questions?
I have comments. Okay, I will start.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, what happened?
Okay. I don't do this lightly, but I have some ongoing concerns that I want to share publicly that kind of relate to this vote. I was not here for the work session. I was out of the country, so I couldn't participate at that point. So, again, none of this is personal to Ms. Carter. It's more of a pattern I've seen. And so I just wanted to say, I have concerns. I feel like when we appoint people to our cabinet, they should have at least one of these three things. They should either have K through 12 experience, they should have strong roots in the Columbus community, or they have held the same level position at another job. That if they're going to be chief, they should have been the highest of that category at another place, one of those things. Secondly, I'm concerned that we continue to have to go outside of the district for these chief positions. In the last 4 cabinet level positions, I believe that we've done, 3 of them have been outside of our district. And we have had, who I think are some pretty qualified people, leave because they have not seen, they were either not given or did not see room for advancement within the district. So I am very concerned about this pattern, and for that reason, I will be voting no tonight. And I don't doubt she's going to get approved because nobody else raised any of these issues when it came up at the work session last week. So what I would like to go on record too and say is that I really hope that we will start taking more efforts to develop within our school district so that we don't have to keep going outside of our community to fill these kind of positions. And I really hope that Ms. Carter, as the new, I'm sure will be the new HR director, that she will really engage with our school personnel and administrators and see what they need. We have had a lot of turnover within HR and other areas in the last few years, and I would like to see this addressed and more improvement made in that area. So thank you.
Ms. Williams?
Yeah, I just want to, we all vote for various reasons, but I do want to push back just a little bit on going outside the district. I've seen this administration really make extreme efforts in trying to recruit and promote within this organization. It's a large organization, but it doesn't always work. But we have seen so many of our principals come from within and up. We've seen administrators come within and up. But we have gone out. And in my opinion, the superintendent is responsible for his team, which is his cabinet and the leadership within the schools. And so I support his choice. And this is an incredibly well qualified candidate. I am excited about her joining this district. I am excited to see her leadership come to the cabinet. And I think we will all benefit from that.
Kitcher.
I'd like to speak to what Kathy just spoke to in terms of this candidate. As I read the resume, this is an incredible candidate. If you see all the credentials, I'm not sure if any of the people in the audience, but I have had people call me on the telephone to express how they like this candidate and how Dr. Lewis must have spent some time in securing this candidate. And we've been looking for this candidate for a while, which means that Dr. Lewis has has been working on this for a while. And we also consider inside candidates as well as outside candidates. And sometimes the outside candidate is the candidate that is the best candidate and the best candidate for the district. As I look in front of me, I see 7 cabinet people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm trying to make sure that's correct. 5 of them are from within. Make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of these people have been promoted from within the district. So to say that we haven't been doing promoting within the district is not quite adequate. But I do favor promoting within the district. However, when we have an incredible candidate, we should go and hire the best candidate for our school district.
Jackson?
Madam Chair, I would just like to piggyback on what Representative William and Buckner said. I think Ms. Carter is more than qualified, and I'm just excited to see what she's going to do when she joins the team.
Thank you. I just wanted to give my 2 cents on how I feel about the situation, so that Dr. Lewis knows and so that the cabinet who's interviewing personnel prior to bringing the recommendation, so that they know and get a feel for how the board feels. Lori, I appreciate your comments in reference to hiring from within. But I do think that in order for us to be a stellar school system, we have to pick the best candidate. And I think that once we've gone through the proper channels to give everyone, both here locally and abroad, once we've gone through the proper protocol to give everyone an equal opportunity to apply, that it's our responsibility to choose the best candidate for the job and the best candidate for our school district. And anytime that I know that that process has been followed, my vote is going to be yes. Because I do appreciate the fact that this is a person who has human resource certifications. And I know that she's been a part of SHRM, which I think is very important to have when you're looking for a human resource director. So definitely I will be voting yes on this, but I wanted to just weigh in about how I feel about it personally, that we should always be looking for the very best candidate because our staff deserves it and our kids deserve it.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. You know, the way I always looked at the cabinet out there, it's the superintendent. These are the people, the men and the women that he has to work with, and they reflect him. And if he picks bad choices, it reflects him. If he picks the good ones, it reflects him. But if the cabinet, if the board picks his people, then it's not the superintendent out there saying, this is who I want. And I have, when he picks somebody, I feel like he is thoroughly vetted, saying this is the person who I think is the best qualified person for the job. And it don't mean that the person below him is even at worse, and it could even be better, because everything's a judgment call. How many of you thought was the best person and ended up being the best, and maybe the second person would have been a little bit better, but you don't know these things when you're looking at the resumes and stuff. So I do leave it to the superintendent, and if he says that's it, unless there's something, just like Lori, we come in through the board here and we're finding out that, you know, she's looked at it through and through. I've looked at it as far as the recommendation right there. And yes, I would say this, number one, I wish everybody was from within and brought up. That's just the way I wish it was. It was all Columbus, Phoenix City people in this set. But that's just not the real world right there. An establishment with 6,000 employees and 32,000 children, we've got to make sure we offer the very best choice for our family right here, to make sure our kids get the best education, and whoever's in this position, and these are the major positions that we're looking for. So I'm with what the superintendents who's recommending and what the stuff they have shown us on the resume. I'm for it all the way. I wish somebody else would have sat there and said, this is it, but I understand him saying this is the best candidate who I feel like would be the best person for the job.
My last comment is, and I've shared this as well, I would really, because I know everybody else wants to give huge deference to the superintendent, and I tend to do that too, and I would be more inclined if we did not have to push a button individually on all these candidates, because when we do, it's reported to our staff and to the community as we personally did approve that. Nobody reads that and says, well, the superintendent recommended it and they all went along with it. It does send a message. My vote sends a message of as to how I feel about, like I said, this pattern of appointments, and that's why I have decided against it. I would love if we would just group them all together and it be more of his suggestion and we just give a broad general approval. But as we tend to keep voting on them individually, I will go with my conscience. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you want to add something else, Ms.? Go ahead and.
I hate to just come right back, but as I said earlier, if we look at our cabinet, if we're talking about an established pattern, if that was the issue, an established pattern of hiring from outside, that would not be accurate. If we look at an established pattern. So I just want to correct that part.
Thank you, everyone, for your comments. Just before we hear from the superintendent, I do want to, we've all said pretty much the same thing, just different ways. I just want to add a point of clarity. The only person that the board actually hires is the superintendent, and I am a staunch proponent for leaders, whether they're principals or the superintendent, picking their own team. But what's more important to me is that the very best candidate is selected and chosen to do the job. That's the only way that we can make the progress and get the work done, is by having the very best candidate. And in Muscogee County School District, with positions at this level, a panel is chosen, and the application process and the link is spread abroad. So anyone in the United States of America can apply to these level jobs. And we like to, I think it's impressive when we can recruit next level talent to come to our city or promote that next level talent from within. But at the end of the day, it has to be the best candidate, and it has to be an opportunity where anyone can apply and be selected and go through the process of the panel, weeding it down and coming down to a short list, and the superintendent is making his choice. So with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Lewis so he can speak on his recommendation.
Well, good. Well, thank you all, and I thank everyone for the support of the recommendation, those of you who are. I will just share with you that in order to clarify the process, it wasn't just a panel, it was two separate panels comprised of total of 12 hiring managers, people who actually are in the job of hiring people throughout the system. We have some great people internally, but I've been charged with bringing forward the results for our district and bringing forward the people who will in my opinion, be able to successfully accomplish that. We did have 12 members in both the panels of 6. The total aggregate totals came forward with the recommendation of Ms. Carter. I concur with that recommendation from the panels, although I will share with everybody I have the right and have on occasion deviated from those panels based on my individual opinion on some subjects. That's part of my responsibility as the CEO of the organization. That said, I do in this case concur with all 12 of the, or I should say both panels, that in the aggregate of both panels recommended this nominee, and I do believe we're bringing forward the best candidate at this particular point in time for this position, and I'm looking forward to working with Ms. Carter and having her be a member of our team. Thank you.
We voted twice now.
I was checking to make sure that the system would not allow us to finalize the vote. The votes are there. Ms. Jones has the vote, so we have to move to the next one, and she has the final if you want her to read them out.
I do need to do that because it has to be done publicly. Thank you so very much. The motion passes. Ms. Carter. And we are actually supposed to show who voted how, or will me reading it into the minutes suffice, Ms. Jones? All right, so Hughley Green, yes. Cantrell, yes. Buckner, yes. Chambers, yes. Williams, yes. Jackson, yes. McCray, no. Motion passes. All right, congratulations, Ms. Carter. You are welcome to the podium. Ms. Tillery, did you connect? Is she logged in? Is Ms. Tillery logged in? Did she vote? She voted yes. All right, Ms. Tillery, affirmative.
Good evening, everyone. As you know, my name is Tanya Carter, and first, I'd like to give honor to God, who's the head and foundation of my life. It is Him that I am most grateful to for orchestrating this opportunity. I have to say, in all of my days, I know that His plans are better than the ones that we create for ourselves. I'd also like to thank my husband, Tino. He has been my #1 supporter, and I'm excited about this journey that we're taking together, and it's nice to take it with my soulmate. And finally, I'd like to thank the superintendent, the school board, the cabinet, all of the interviewers, there were so many, for expressing a sense of confidence in my potential contributions, and to the HR team for ice cream sundaes and making me feel so welcome. Thank you. I hope to make each of you proud of my contribution to the employees, to the school district as a whole, and ultimately to the children and their families. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Carter. Mr. Carter, you don't get to just have your name shouted out. You have to stand up and wave. That's what we do. That was... And the HR team, if you would stand or wave. She mentioned the HR team. I see Ms. Reed there. Thank you all so very much. Ms. Williams has a comment.
Yes, welcome, Ms. Carter. I want to make a comment on something Lori said about the process of how we approve personnel. I've been on this board long enough to know you could not group everybody into one vote. Everybody, there's so many people here tonight to hear that one person's name that you are here for, to celebrate that one special person that you are supporting. And you deserve that, and the candidate for employment or promotion deserves that as well. And also, I know that if there were one person in that group that somebody had a burr in their saddle about, or about the process, they would want that name pulled out so they could discuss it individually. So I don't want us to try to move towards that process, because I think, one, it would not be fair to those who have that moment to support their loved one or to hear their own name. And also, I just don't think it would work. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so very much. Next item, 4.03. Superintendent is recommending the appointment of Tanya Sanders to serve as assistant principal at Gentian Elementary School. Motion by Ms. Jackson, second by Ms. Chambers. Are there any questions? We are ready to vote now. Did everybody vote?
We're just waiting on Tillery. And she dropped off.
All right. You can log her as a no vote, Ms. Jones says.
We're getting the same error on this. No, it carried it. Okay, never mind. Showed it. The system's being very weird tonight. Go to the motion. Put the.
Can we hand vote?
Yeah.
All right, all in favor? All right, that's unanimous. It passes. Congratulations, Ms. Sanders.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis, Madam Chair, school board members, Mr. Bell, Mr. Baker, Dr. Wiggins, remaining cabinet. I thank you very much for entrusting me for such an important role at Gentian Elementary School. And I would not be here today were it not for my family. You all can stand if you want. My husband, my daughter, my mom and sister, and my aunt and uncle who are watching online. And I also want to mention my former leaders who have often seen something in me that I have not seen in myself. I will always be indebted to Chris Cox, Reginald Williamson, and Tammy Anderson. Excuse me. And to my current leader, Dr. Smith, thank you for the opportunity to serve in federal programs and for your continued support. And my federal program colleagues, it has been an honor serving with them. And to my central region schools that I've had the honor to serve all these years, I am grateful for their for modeling effective leadership, drive, and passion for students. And to my extended family and close friends and colleagues, your support means the world to me. And to my new principal, Jamie Chavez, I very much look forward to working with you, along with the faculty and staff, and to serving the students and the parents and the community at Gentian. I truly thank God for this opportunity. And with that, this is a little nerve-wracking here. And with that, I am excited to say that I am officially a proud Gentian Charter.
Okay, family, I guess that's husband. Stand up again and wave. Parents, siblings. Think I heard your Gentian Charger family over here on this side. Congratulations again to you.
I might just mention, we didn't get a chance to recognize Ms. Chavez last month.
Ms. Chavez.
Would you stand? You were not here last month we appointed you as principal. I just want to congratulate you.
All right, item 4.04. Are we ready to go on?
Board docs is not acting appropriately, so we just either log out and log everybody back in, or we'll
Hand vote. We'll hand vote. Thank you so very much. We'll hand vote. Item 4.04, Superintendent is recommending the appointment of Adam Jones to serve as Assistant Principal at Hannon Magnet Academy. Motion by Ms. McRae, second by Mr. Cantrell. Are there any questions? We're ready to vote by hand. All in favor, please raise your hand. All right, that's unanimous. That passes. We are all excited to vote for you, so congratulations, and please come to the microphone.
Good evening, everyone. First, I thank God for opening doors for me continuously, because usually if a door closes, I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? And another one opens. So I thank God for opening this opportunity for me. I'd like to thank Dr. Lewis and the Muscogee County School Board, Mr. Baker, Mr. Bell, Dr. Wiggins, and the members of the cabinet for this opportunity. Thank you to my wife and our 3 children for their unwavering support as I have worked to achieve this dream of becoming administrator. Thank you to my family, my parents, my in-laws, my close friends for the continued support every day. Thank you to Dr. Yvette Scarborough for welcoming me into Fox this past year as a dean and allowing me to grow professionally under her guidance. Although we had many challenges this year, I would not be as prepared as I am today without that experience and to work under her leadership. I have been blessed to have a few mentors at my time throughout Muscogee County. First, Lori Watt. She hired me in the district when the district was on a hiring freeze. I had actually started a job with CB&T because I was told there was not going to be a teacher's hire this year. So she brought me in the profession, gave me a chance a week before school actually started. Next, Teresa Lawson, who really pushed me to become the leader I am today. She gave me leadership opportunities and always challenged me. Next, Stephanie Dalton Falk, who welcomed me in as a dean, part-time dean, and involved me from the very first day I stepped in there. She involved me in every aspect of leadership and helped me grow to become a leader I am today. And finally, but definitely not least, is Jeff Battles, who gave me the opportunity to live out my dream as a football coach at Hardaway High School. But he has been there every step of the way to guide me through this journey. Each of these 4 leaders have invested time in me that I'll forever be grateful for. I have been able to work with some of the best faculties and staff in Muscogee County, and although there are too many mentions to name, so many have played a role in preparing me to be the best administrator I can be. And finally, thank you, Dr. LaShonda Miller, for the recommendation to work alongside her and the staff to continue to inspire and equip all students to achieve unlimited potential at Hannon Magnet Academy.
Congratulations. Okay, family, you have to stand up and wave. Congratulations. Oh, Ms. McRae.
I just want to say that I can't wait to go home and tell my youngest 2, Julia and Will McRae, who Mr. Jones knows well, that Mr. Jones is now an assistant principal. They will be thrilled. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Moving on to item 4.05. Dr. Lewis is recommending the appointment of Ms. Erica Gandy to serve as assistant principal at Hardaway High School. Motion by Ms. Chambers. Second by Ms. Jackson. Are there any questions? We're all ready to hand vote. All in favor? All right, that passes unanimously. Ms. Gandy, congratulations. We love it. Personal cheerleader. That's your wife. All right.
He didn't even let me get a chance to say his name in the speech. Woo! All right, y'all. My name is Erica Gandy. Good evening to all of you all, and thank you for this opportunity. First of all, I would like to give honor to and praise to God, who is the head of my life. Thank you to the board members for your votes, and I would like to personally thank Dr. Lewis and his cabinet members, Mr. Baker, Mr. Wiggins, and Mr. Bell, for the recommendation and entrusting me with the opportunity to assume the position of assistant principal of Hardaway High School. I would like to thank my husband, Charles Gandy Jr. He is my best friend, he is my soulmate, and he is my biggest supporter, as you can see. I would like to thank my children, Carson and Chandler, for they give me strength to go on my hardest days. I want to thank my parents, Marthea Oliver Hall and Carrie Hall, for instilling in me the morals and values that I encompass as the educator that I am today. It all started with them, and I am eternally grateful. I would like to thank Ms. Tamara Magwood and Dr. O.C. Hewling for taking a chance on a rookie teacher and offering me my first position at Baker Middle School. Thank you for recognizing my potential and for constantly empowering me to always be my best. Thank you to Ms. Stacy Day for giving me the opportunity to be a teacher leader in your school. And even though I did not work with Dr. Forte at Georgetown Elementary, I would like to thank him for his guidance and his compassion. Mr. McNeil, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to serve under your leadership. I am excited to join the team, and I will continue to uphold the school's mission and vision. We finish to begin. There is a saying that it takes a village to raise a child. Let me just say, I have the best village this side of the Mississippi, okay? So I have my Ramley, we call them Ramley from Arnold, but I have my Ramley here that is here to support me, as well as some of my family members who have come from far away, some who are near as well, and then I have just some close friends of mine who are here to support me today. So I would just like to thank you all for your continued support, and we are in this together. Once again, thank you all, and I look forward to working in the district.
Okay, cheerleader husband, please stand. Congratulations. Did you forget to call the baby's name? Okay. Congratulations. Oh, that's sweet. Item 4.06. Superintendent is recommending the appointment of Ms. Connie Thibault as Assistant Principal at Reese Road Leadership Academy. Motion by Ms. Chambers, second by Ms. Buckner. Are there any questions? We're ready to hand vote. All in favor? That passes. Congratulations, Ms. Thibault.
Good evening. I want to first give honor to God for his blessings. Thank you to Dr. Lewis, Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Wiggins, Mr. Baker, Mr. Bell, for this opportunity. Thank you to the proud principal of Reese Road Leadership Academy, Mrs. Katrina Long. I want to thank you for entrusting me in this role to support your vision for Reese Road. As an educator, it is imperative to have strong mentors, and I am truly blessed to have a village. I want to thank Mrs. Stephanie Dalton-Falk, Dr. Brenda Coley, Mrs. Inez Parker, the A-Team, Mrs. Phillips Brown, Dr. Katie Lettieri, and Dr. Sheila Precious Ellis Evans. Thank you for your words of wisdom, words of encouragement, making me think outside of the box, your lessons, motivation, and leadership. To my husband, Osi, my children, Sinitra, Sierra, and Heather, my parents, my sister, and other family members, I truly appreciate your support and encouragement. Thank you for being my biggest cheerleaders. Last, but certainly not least, thank you to my Wesley Heights family, sorority sisters of Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated, and my friends for your support. I truly appreciate you. I am honored to serve as assistant principal at Reese Road Leadership Academy alongside Mrs. Long, where great happens here. Again, thank you for this opportunity.
We love it when you all bring your cheering squads. Congratulations, Ms. Thibault. It's great to see your dad. All right, husband, you got to stand. Parents, I know you're proud. Used to be a cameraman back in the day. Board members who may remember that. Good to see you again here. All right, we will move on next. 4.07, Superintendent is recommending Deborah Terrell to serve as the proud assistant principal of Rigdon Road Elementary School. Motion by Ms. Jackson, second by Ms. Williams. All in favor? Are there any questions? We're hand voting. All right, that passes unanimously. Congratulations, Ms. Terrell. If you would come to Ms. Porch. Deborah. Sorry about that. Porch was on that second line. Deborah Terrell Porch.
Thank you. Good evening. I would like to thank the board along with Dr. Lewis and his cabinet, including the chiefs. Thank you, Mr. Bell, for the opportunity to serve as an assistant principal in your region. I'm truly honored and blessed to be here. To my previous principal, Ms. Horn, words cannot begin to express my sincere gratitude for your leadership, endless support, motivation, and preparation for leadership. My time at Baker, Go Lions, has given me the opportunity to work with an amazing, resilient, and hardworking team that is dedicated to student growth and success. Thank you so much. To my new principal, Ms. Derrick, I am thankful for you. I look forward to joining the already dynamic team at Rigdon Road. I must also thank my small but mighty village, my husband, Dr. Christopher Porch, and my kids, Kennedy and Christian, for their support, for their patience, and for their willingness to always share me with my work family. To my mother and father-in-law, my family and friends, stakeholders, and community partners that have supported me in any way, I'm sincerely grateful. What else can I say? But I'm ready to be at Rigdon Road Bear. Thank you.
Congratulations. Okay, husband, you have to stand and wave. Congratulations. Item 4.08, superintendent is recommending the appointment of Megan Hallisey to serve as assistant principal at Waddell Elementary School. All right, motion by Ms. Jackson, second by Ms. Williams. Are there any questions? We're ready to vote by hand. That passes unanimously. Congratulations, Ms. Hallisey. If you would come to the microphone.
Psych. Take two. All right. Good evening. For the last 5 years, I have had the opportunity to work with exceptional teachers and principals of Muscogee County School District, and I couldn't be more thrilled and honored to join this team and become an assistant principal at Waddell Elementary School. Thank you, Dr. Lewis, for your continued support. I really appreciate this opportunity. Thank you to the board and the cabinet members for your vote of confidence. I also wouldn't be here without the region chiefs. Thank you, Mr. Baker, for your encouragement. Dr. Wiggins, I look forward to working more closely with you. And Mr. Bell, thank you for your assistance, your guidance, and your encouragement over this last year. I very much appreciate it. I also want to thank Dr. Sheffield, the previous principal of Dorothy Height Elementary, your willingness to support my creativity, to advise me, and to answer my 2 million questions. I am grateful for you to be in my life as a mentor and as a friend. To Mrs. Adams, the current principal of Dorothy Height Elementary, thank you for playing a role in my success and for your continued support and assistance. I still reserve the right to keep calling you, though. To my school partnerships who supported my various endeavors over this past year as a very big advocate of arts integration. I see one of them in here today, Fab Arts, Mr. Rick Knight. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Community schools and a bunch of other partnerships. I must recognize them because they have also helped me in getting here this year, so thank you. And I hope to see you next year. I must also recognize our hardworking teachers, paraprofessionals, front office staff, cafeteria staff, Mr. Harvey, and of course, the wonderful students in Dorothy Height Elementary. Not only did you invite me into this very special place, but you welcomed me with open arms. Sorry. That's how special it is. Thank you. To my friends and family watching afar, I appreciate all of your love and support. To my mother and father in the audience, thank you for encouraging me. I have a job now and I'm out of school. Yay! I also want to recognize my daughter, Kira Hallisey. She is my number one, and I find such joy in watching her grow and learn. As a single mom, admittedly, it can be very hard, and I know a lot of people have spoken about villages. I have a city, neighbors, everybody, we all come together. So I thank you, and I thank you, Kira, for being such a supportive daughter. Thank you for being so wonderful. As educators, we never know how we touch people's hearts, how we impact them. Maxine Green, in her book, Blue Guitar, who is a huge advocate for arts integration, she talks about the human element, the human experiences, and unlocking the human potential. As an assistant principal, I get to learn from the experiences of 450 students, as well as the amazing staff. And I will have the opportunity to untap their potential. So I'm very, truly honored for this opportunity. To Mrs. Douglas, the principal of Waddell Elementary, thank you for giving me a chance. I am excited to inspire and create with you. To my new Waddell Warrior family, woo woo! I look forward to working with each of you to unveil this human potential that is in each of us and in each one of our students. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Congratulations. Okay, wonderful parents, stand and wave. Good job.
Yeah, I wanted to, am I on? Oh, I just wanted to comment on your, I noticed that you spoke of your parents, and you gave them, complimented them. I just want to say that I'm sure they had a lot to do with your educational background. I wanted to comment on your formal education. I was reading your resume, and I found it to be very impressive, your undergraduate work and your graduate work. And then I learned that I made those comments to Dr. Lewis, and I learned that he also received a master's degree at Northwestern also. So I told him I was a little proud of him too for that. But anyway, I was just, all of your formal education, your undergraduate and your graduate work is quite impressive.
Thank you very much. Item 4.09. We're going to have a mass exodus now because we're done with the personnel appointments. All right. Motion by Ms. Chambers, second by Ms. Buckner, to approve the rebranding of Britt David's Magnet Academy theme to Advanced College Preparatory with CTAT integration. Are there any questions, additional questions? We're ready to vote. All in favor of voting for Britt David's rebranding? Raise your hand. All right, that passes. Item 4.10. Is it sitting on the table? It's sitting on the table? All right, 4.10 is a policy revision that will come back for us to actually take action on in August. But it's the policy IEDA. In accordance with the existing needs of the school district, the administration recommends the revision of this policy of unstructured break time to align with current legislation, House Bill 1283. The revision is related to recess each day for students in kindergarten and grades 1 through 5. And we will bring it back on at our August meeting to vote on. Item 4.11 is the Columbus Museum Alterations Project. Motion by Ms. Buckner, second by Ms. Jackson, is to recommendation to approve the revision, to approve the guaranteed maximum price of $19,153,663 for the Phase 2 of the Columbus Museum Alterations Project. Are there any questions? We're ready to vote by hand. All in favor? That's unanimous. Ms. Jones. Item 4.12 is the Memorandum of Understanding for the Columbus Museum Project. That's attached. Need a motion. Motion by Ms. Buckner, second by Ms. Jackson. Are there any questions on the MOU that's attached? All right, we're ready to vote now. You have a question? All right, Mr. Cantrell, hit your.
I've been out for a few meetings, as some of you know. Have all these been bidded on, these prices here, all of them been bidded?
Yes.
Okay, that's my main question. Thank you.
Yes, it's through the library, but and they've gone through the regular course of bidding to bring the recommendation forward.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Ms. Chambers?
I just have a question, and I may have missed this. It may have been when I stepped out last week. Can someone explain the memorandum of understanding? Why is that necessary? And what's the change that we're making to the agreement with the Columbus Museum?
Basically.
Oh, which one are y'all?
Go ahead. You're the legal.
The change on on that particular MOU, the amount was already approved, had to raise it via fundraising, and the MOU is to sign to approve the amount, approve the renovations, and it's contingent on, of course, the museum signing as well.
Okay,
Can I
you
interrupt
explain
that
to
thought?
me?
Ms. Hunter, before you leave, she was also by Zoom last month, before you walk out the door.
Congratulations. Okay, so can someone explain why there was a need for the MOU then? I understand that we voted for the increase, so why is there a need for MOU in this particular case?
So the board policy is that when you get to the point of a phased program like this, we're to the phase 2 portion of it, that you have to then approve that we are doing what we've already essentially agreed to do, that the money is now here. It then has to be moved, deposited over, moved over, and then the MOU outlines that process of doing that through the phase 2.
Okay. I'll look for that.
In this instance, and we don't in other instances.
Right.
Yeah.
This MOU, it kind of solidifies the agreement between Muscogee County School District and the Columbus Museum, Inc., and the fact that we are entering into the contract and they are going to be giving us the money to pay for that contract, and it just solidifies that agreement that they're actually going to be giving us that money.
Just a reminder there.
Yes.
This is their money.
Yeah.
Correct.
No.
Correct. The
Right.
library and the museum is semi-autonomous.
Yes, it is just that agreement that says, yes, we're going to give you that entire.
That makes sense.
That
We
money.
discussed it last week.
Yeah.
So this is my last question. Was the MOU attached last week?
It said it was pending because it had to
Okay.
update some language.
See, I usually don't miss. I
Yes.
don't miss it. I knew I had not read a MOU. So thank you, guys.
All right. We're ready to vote now? All right, all in favor? All right, that passes, Ms. Jones. Next is the consent agenda. Motion by Ms. Williams, second by Ms. Chambers, and we have a question by Ms.
No, you got
for
more
Ms.
than a
McCray.
question. But anyway,
Okay.
again, I'm kind of playing catch up because I was gone for a week and a half. It's my understanding that deep in all this stuff, we are now voting on the $5.5 million contract with Chance Light. And I watched last week's meeting. I read through the emails that we've had since, and there's been very little discussion of that. I mean, I was kind of expecting some kind of presentation. I watched it. It was about behavior support. Nothing really got into the weeds of what Chance Light is providing for us, that we were about to embark on another 3-year contract. Is that correct? 3-year contract at $5.5 million a year. Yeah, so that's a $16.5 million allocation of our funds. Once again, to Chance Light, when we signed on 3 years ago, we were told that we were doing this as a fix for 3 years, that at the end of 3 years, we thought we could greatly decrease these expenses and bring this more in-house. A lot of the things I would like to know before I personally sign on to $16.5 million are the following. It's item number 5.07. It's down in there. And it was 10.05 for next week. So, one, I'd like to have a better idea of the number of students that are being served by Chance Light for this amount of money. I would like to know how much of their staff is certified specialists. I would really like to know how many of their staff are hired locally, because one of the reasons we were sold on this was that they could bring in staff from a lot of different areas to help with the shortages that we have. I would like to know if that's really true or if they're just finding people locally that our HR could do and save us some money, and better probably vet them. I would also like to know, have there been complaints or allegations? I know there's been one big one against Chance Light staff before we again contract with them for another 3 years. I'd also like to have some kind of matrix, whichever word it would be, just kind of the success and benefits of their staffing. I mean, I feel like when we signed on 3 years ago, we were told a lot of detail. And again, we were kind of told, we're doing this 3 years to help us get to where we need to be. Now we're just kind of re-upping it again for another 3 years. So I'm definitely not voting for it without getting more information. And so whatever anybody else wants to ask any questions or add in, they can. Well, and very interestingly,
school is getting ready to start, and so-
and the contract's supposed to have started July 1st, and we're sitting here on July 18th, and it's just been brought to us. So I would kind of like to understand that too, why a contract that should have started, is dated as July 1st, is now just being brought to us halfway through July.
Ms. Butner, are you?
Yeah, I was going to say, address the comments from Mrs. McRae in terms of the how many local people, the metrics, and if they there have been any recent complaints. Well, I'd like to say that I do assume, and I'm sure the superintendent can provide this information for you, and maybe if you said you were there at the meeting or you saw it on the on Zoom, maybe you could have asked these questions before the meeting, and he could have provided you this information before this meeting, because I'm sure before he goes into another contract, the things that you have asked are the things that he probably has already vetted, and that's why I always feel that the board members and the superintendent have different duties. And it's the duty of the superintendent to hire and to vet out these things and to provide for us different programs and staff that will make our system successful. And so I just find that it's very important that we let the superintendent be the superintendent and board members as do their responsibility, which is good. You can ask questions. Asking questions is very important, and I just addressed that. And when I said that last week had a whole week to answer these questions, and I'm sure that he has vetted this. We have to assume that the superintendent has basic knowledge, that he would address the things that you have addressed are basic things that I'm sure that he probably, and he could have provided you this information before this meeting. That was.
It should have been signed for July 1st. If we had done that by July 1st, I would have not been out of the country, and I would have had plenty of time to look at this and discuss the contract. It was given to us on the 8th, which I realize it's my picking to have gone on a trip to see my child at her study abroad. But it is very rare that I do not come here very prepared and that I have not asked my questions in advance. I arrived in Columbus very late last night. I spent a large portion of today watching last week's meeting, reading up, and was just honestly astounded because I kind of thought that people would have asked more of these questions and realized that they hadn't been, and that we didn't really have any more detail on this contract than what was, briefly said at last week's meeting. So at that point, I was out of time and I had to be here.
Ms. Chambers.
As a side note, Madam Chair, do you have a little light that lights up when we press this button? Oh, okay. We're going to have to fix that. Okay. I did ask last week for the numbers to be sent to me. You gave us percentages for Chance Light, and so I did ask that question. It will not affect my vote tonight, but I'm not sure if you sent those numbers to me, but if you could, that would be great. And I do want to speak to this because I think Lori brought up a good point that we did say we were going to do this for 3 years, then assess it, and then perhaps try to do this on our own. That's true. We did say that. But I believe it was at Jordan High School, and this might have been 3-4 years ago. I went to a presentation and you all talked a lot about Chance Light. I can't remember which school it was at. It was in an auditorium. And I remember specifically, and I'm sorry, I don't remember your name, but I remember talking to you in the parking lot about this program. And I remember you saying that we were concerned about the kids that we were referring to residential services, which was costing us much more money. And I was concerned about finding someone here local who could cover the kids and give them the services, the wraparound services they needed. And so with that said, I'm going to make two comments. Therapeutic services is a very difficult area. It is, I don't know, it's just outside of the rim. And so I almost believe that we need a program like this because it borders on there being some medical issues and educational issues. And sometimes educators just are not trained to provide those extra services. I would, Dr. Lewis, like to see us try to wean away, not away from the program, but train our teachers and our resources here to sort of run the same program, because you don't want the kids who've received services for 3 years. I can't imagine that they don't still need services. And so that is why I'm going to vote yes, because I would hate, after you gave us the presentation on how helpful the system has been for the last 3 years, then if we pull the program, then you have a group of children 3 weeks before school starts that will not be receiving therapeutic services. And so I still need the number if you haven't sent it to me. But I will be voting for it for that reason. But Lori's point about, we said we were going to sort of make some changes after 3 years is absolutely correct. And so if you could bring some type of information or plan back to us, we've renewed it this second time. How are we going to sort of change that after this contract?
So let me just address that. We have reduced some. We've had this problem with the pandemic that has led to a lot of vacancies, particularly in special ed, which of course, as you know, special education is one of the areas across the country that has been difficult to fill and remains that way. We are looking at trying to pull away from that in the areas where we can. Mr. DeConsiglio is fully aware of that, and we are working toward that end. But at this point in time, based on the results we got last year and have been getting, I think the bottom line is that and I will point out that the money we're paying right now, if you would go back and look at what we paid in services before in terms of staffing, workman's compensation, all those things, they far exceed what we're spending right now in our contracted. We still are working toward building that capacity interior with internally. But again, special education has been an extremely difficult area to fill across the country, Georgia, and we're not immune to that. And so we are working with that and toward building capacity. But I am very proud of the results we've gotten. I'm very proud of the continuum of services that is unlike anything else that any other district has at this point in time. And it is a model. I'm very proud of that. And I think we are going to continue to work toward building that internal capacity. But that is why we're bringing that contract. And I will point out that it's a 3-year annual renewal, of course, every year.
So we are only pledging ourselves for
1 year. I would like to speak to, Ms. Chambers, I thought, did an excellent job of sort of capturing what I was thinking, so thank you for that. We did talk about weaning ourselves off of it, but I am so incredibly impressed with the services we have received. It's not about me, and it's not about Dr. Lewis, and it's not about any of us. It's about the kids that got served. And these are kids that we would have lost in this system if not for this highly specialized service. And so thank you for that. However, Ms. McCrae has some good questions. I wish we could have gotten them earlier so that we could have all been fact-based on our vote. I will be supporting this I will be voting yes heartily. But I think, Ms. McCray, please put those questions in writing, get them to the superintendent, and then let us all get those answers. They're valid. Now, I do understand this is just an annual review of, I would expect a 3-year rolling contract, and that we are getting a lot of bang for the buck, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, can I go on the record ahead then and say that next year, before we renew it, at least, 45 days before it's supposed to be renewed, we get a presentation that breaks down all these questions that I've asked that you will have in an email, because I will send those, so that we can make a very informed decision ahead of time and not when we feel like we are actually, probably needs to be a couple of months in advance, because again, I don't want anybody to not get services. My issue is more with the process of how the contract's been handled than whether or not it's doing what it needs to, and I definitely want all our children to be served. So I would like a contract to this be given to us in ample time that we can ask these questions with the information we need to make very informed decisions instead of feeling a little like it's under duress because it's July 15th and they're going back to school in 3 weeks. Thank you.
I was going to comment on something else, but I would like to say that as I vote tonight, I won't be feeling that I'm voting under duress. I think that, as I said, the questions that Mrs. McGray raised are questions that I believe have already been vetted, and the answers just had to be provided. And if they were raised earlier after the work session, we will have these answers already. However, I think Ms. McCray had a good point. She had a good point in terms of as the educational benefit of the program is explained, next year, if she wants that 45 days out, because I have no problems with that. If she wants that 40 days out, as you explain the educational benefit, the financial also aspects are also provided so that all board members will feel satisfied with the decision and the vote that they are making.
Certainly. And let me just clarify, this is not something that came at the last minute. We've been working on this, and because it was the end of a contract, Mr. DeConsiglio can vouch for this, we have been negotiating back and forth on price, which I hope the board can all appreciate. And I think he will tell you that we negotiated a pretty tough deal for the last 2 months, frankly. So we're bringing the best price for the best services we can provide for our students. So it's not because it was done at the last minute. We've been negotiating price point now for the better part of 2.5 months, I would think. Roughly accurate. And no offense to Mr. DeConsiglio or Chance Light, but we're going to drive the right bargain for our price point.
I have a question that brings up a question.
That's all right, Kia. Me being out the last 3 months, I missed it, but I've been keep up with Chance Light the whole time. No doubt with the pandemic we've had for the last 3 years has made a lot of stuff difficult. And being able to judge this, I'm like Ms. McCray, that I really felt like the 3 years and then we was going to be on our own, that we was going to learn from the 3 years and be on our own after 3 years. Now, that was not my intentions, but that was the idea that I achieved right there. And with it coming up with another 3-year contract, now, are you saying that if in 1 year from now, this is a 3-year with a 1-year option, that we can change it? Okay. Is the money, we get the money this in, is the money higher this time compared to what it was 3 years ago?
No.
It is not no difference there. And I assume by you supporting it, everybody is happy with the Chance Light program that has been through there. I think the last 3 years is a curb for everybody because of the pandemic of being able to throw some of it out if it worked or it didn't work, because half our year was, from the iPads. And I think that was definitely different. I've heard some real good things about it, especially when it first started. Former board member John Wells brought it to my attention, first of all, saying he thought it was one of the best ideas. I believe he said his grandson was at Chance Light at Northside High School. So that went over real well. I went to the post office about 3 weeks ago, and I had the opposite opinion from the post office lady. So there's still a yes and no on whichever way you go right there. She thought it was the worst thing in the world. And so I'm just trying to speak honestly of the things I've heard about him over the last few years. John, I was real pleased with his because John has been on the board for this many years. But as long as I know it's for 1 year, I can support it for this year here, and hopefully knowing that we're going for 3 years. But, you know, the whole intention, I assumed that the whole intention was us to learn their way of doing Chance Light and be able to bring this into the Muscogee County School District and us bring this ourselves into the future and at a savings of money, hopefully. So I'll support it as long as I know for 1 year and not just one time. Maybe you can give us some updates in the next year of things of how many children's being, you know, used with it and stuff like that, where we got a little more detail than just the night that we're voting or even just 30 nights before we're voting.
Yes, ma'am. Point of clarity. We've said it's a 3-year contract, but really it's a 1-year renewal. How is that broken down? I'm assuming that we're not paying $5.5 million for 1 year.
Those services cost more than that, the old way we were doing it. Yes, that's per
I don't know
year.
why I thought that was for the 3 years.
No way.
Okay.
That was 16 million, I think, for the 3 years. About that.
Okay, so let me ask this question. That will really go back to me wanting to know the number of students, like I asked last week, the number of students being serviced.
Ms. Robinson, do you know right offhand, would you please clarify this for us?
There's one piece of information that I can share. We have 0 students that are served through a residential facility. And at our max number at our Therapeutic Day School last year, we were serving 45 students. If we had to serve those students in a residential facility, that would cost us $9 million for those students for that annual cost. It's $200,000, and that's a low estimate at a residential facility because we don't have any residential facilities in the Columbus area. The closest one is in Atlanta or in Florida, and that's going to cost you $200,000 plus. So just at that cost for those students that we serve just our Therapeutic Day would be $9 million a year. That doesn't include the students that we're serving in our collaborative classrooms, our transitional classrooms, and going into interrelated for the vast population of special ed.
And I do want to clarify too, as far as the residential, that's if they had beds.
Right.
Had availability,
So this is the conversation that you and I had before, and this is when my opinion of Chance Light sort of changed, and that was 4 years ago. Because it's a federal law, we have to provide the services.
Correct.
And if we have to provide the services, we want to make sure that the children are getting the services they need.
And they're at home with their families.
And they need someone who specializes in this therapeutic day sort of school.
Yes, perfect.
So that is definitely, you know, why I will continue to support Chance Light. If you remember when we brought a contract before that was Chance Light, that was therapeutic and for the alternative school, my opinion about that was totally different because I kept asking this question, can we find just the therapeutic? Can it be separate? Because those students need something totally different. And so I will say to Dr. Lewis, because we did say this, that we would look at the program and try to bring it in-house.
Exactly.
But I will say this. This is a specialized service. I am not sure that we as educators have all the tools, the training that is necessary to sort of go over the line into therapeutic. So I know that that is the goal, and I will support it if we are able to provide the same type of therapeutic service
better.
for those or better for those students, but
And
that
that was just the
that would
residential. I think
require
we
a
ought
lot
to
of
keep in
training.
mind too, we're building a continuum of services. You saw the numbers last week about having students learn how to cope and regulate themselves, to be able to move back to the least restrictive environment, which is the expectation in law, is to serve children in their least restrictive environment. And we had, I don't remember right offhand, how many was?
68% from the
68.
therapeutic over to a regular
And
school.
that's percentages, we'll get you numbers, but regardless, 68% is 68% of students who normally, without these services, would not be moving out of those more restrictive environments. We want them moving to a least, and more importantly, they didn't go back. They were able to regulate themselves and continue to function in a regular environment. Because that's ultimately the goal, is to be able to have students move from us and be able to function in the real world.
And Ms. McCray, I don't know if this would answer one of your questions as far as bringing people from out of Columbus to Columbus. Chance Light does do that. A lot of the staff that comes in and the teachers that come in, we are taking their certifications and rotating them over to a Georgia certification from a different state. So we are bringing people into the community, or Chance Light is bringing people into our community, and they're calling it home now.
I'm turning it off. Okay. Is it, oh, yeah, I was just gonna say, in terms of, the questions that address us, doing this program ourselves, and, which is a very lofty goal, you know, and we still can maintain that as a goal. But I also want to remind the board that the whole country is competing for employees. The whole country is competing for employees as we say that we are trying to provide this service ourselves. And that, of course, is very difficult. And what we have now, we are avoiding, I think, what you have been saying, our kids. Yes, we are avoiding that. Plus, we are providing a service that we don't have to, kids don't have to go to a residential program that will, as she said, cost $9 million. Because we have this service in place, which we can consider it as a therapeutic service, because we are providing this, we are not, and we also discussed the legal obligation to provide services. But because of this program, we are not having to have kids, these services provided for residential services that will cost this district a whole lot of money. So my point is that while we would love to provide this service ourselves, we have to be realistic. We can continue to have it as a goal, but we also should be reminded how difficult it is to get even special education teachers. And it is more difficult. We've always been, we've always had to contract a lot for our people who provide tests. What's that? The psychologists. We've had to be contracted for psychologists, for these behavioral people. We've always had, before we had this service, we had to contract it out to various places. So it's very difficult to get this. We can keep that as a goal. But as for now, I think that I'm quite satisfied with what we provide, even though it could be better. It is costly, but the alternative is more costly.
Let me just say this to Ms. McCray's point. Because we've had presentations multiple times in the year, every single year, and the presentations have focused on different areas and aspects. And I think what would help us, because we've forgotten, is for your presentation, and this is just a suggestion, all right, to incorporate these very valid questions that Ms. McRae has, and do an overview of all of the other presentations. I know y'all was bringing it to us in chunks. You need to chunk it for some people. I'm one of those people. and maybe do an overview after you've done all of those presentations on all of the different aspects, and just kind of do an overview to kind of bring us back to remembrance, because the questions that we're asking y'all have answered all through the year. And to Mr. Cantrell's point, there was a presentation about how Chance Light was able to help us with those compensatory services while everybody else was on the iPad. Because the law requires us, didn't care anything about it being a pandemic. It cared nothing about the whole entire country's educational system. K-12 was shut down. Those services were still required, and Chance Light was able to deliver them because we would not have been able to do that with students over doing it electronically. So I think that would just kind of help us to not repeat these questions that we're asking over and over again, because you've answered them, but that would just kind of not make it seem as if someone didn't provide information, because you did, and we appreciate that. But just an overview to answer all of these questions that we have, because at the end of the day, we have to educate all of the children, and we have to give them free and appropriate education based on what in the least restrictive environment. But for all the other students, we have to provide the faith. And we come to this point because even if we try to do it ourselves, we'll be right back where we were, spending $6-8 million serving some of the kids. And the kids, those were the children who had parents or advocates, instead of with this opportunity to serve all of our children and all of their different needs and all of these different specialties, services, and skilled people that have been provided. And I know it's as Ms. Buckner calls it, a lofty goal that we can do this ourselves, but the reality is we cannot do this ourselves with those kind of specialized, skilled people, employees, and services and requirements that these students are coming to our county with. So just a suggestion in your presentation, dump it all on us or do an overview, if you will, provide the numbers, and these questions that Ms. McCray has and that she's going to email are a great setup for your presentation to talk about those specific numbers and the dollars and the amount. And for the record, I will continuously support providing these services for our students. If we have to contract it out, we just have to contract it out, because we had a bunch of separate contracts with a bunch of different individuals before, and this seems to be what is best for our children and their families. And so I thank you for providing information. That's just a suggestion, Mr. Superintendent, and I think we are hopefully ready to move on. You want to, Ms. McCray, and then Dr. Lewis.
So, sorry, again, how many did you say we have in residential, the equivalent of residential?
So we currently serve 0 in residential because of our Therapeutic Day program, but 45 would be what we would have to serve. That was our max last year at 45, which would be $9 million for the annual price of serving those students in a residential facility if they had beds.
So before we had Chance Light, what did we do for those students?
We paid for it.
We were sending that many people to residential I don't remember that number being anything like that when we looked at this before.
It was like 300,000.
Yeah, I thought it was like 9 students, not 45.
It might have been 9. It's 45 now.
So historically, I can't answer that question prior to us of how many we served in residential, but I know that we did serve students in residential, and I know that currently we are serving 0.
On top of that, we had legal fees.
And workman's comp.
And workman's comp, but legal fees, because of the request for residential. So, yeah, I don't know how many it was, but you're saying right now, today, it's 45.
Today, we have 30, which are at our Therapeutic Day program, because we have moved that 68% out. Last year, we had 45. And now we're down to 30, but this is pre-2 enrollment or anybody coming in, new to the district or moving here. But again, even at that would be that 30 at 200,000 per child per year.
It's just interesting because, the numbers we saw before weren't like that. But I don't want to belabor. Everybody else is fine with it. I do want to remove it, though, because I'm not voting for it pretty much just because of the process. Again, I think if we're going to vote on something with 5.5, we should have a little more time to really analyze it and not after the contract should have started. But I can ask my other questions and get that especially for another year renewal.
The only thing I want to add is we have not removed our commitment to try and work toward those services that we can build capacity in internally. We're going to continue to work toward that. But again, I'll just be honest with you, like everybody else with special education programs across the country, we have struggled in that area. And so it's our commitment to continue to try and build in-house capacity as we're able to. Mark is very much aware of that from the very beginning. But there are some areas like the Therapeutic Day School and some of the other continuum that we may have to continue beyond, but we will continue to whittle down as we are able to based on availability of personnel and staffing, certified staffing.
Yeah. Which item on 5.07? If that's easier.
Okay, so we're going to
I guess it's
pull out item 5.07.
Number 13 of 5.07.
Number 13 of 5.07. We're going to vote on that separately. And we're voting by hand anyway, so we'll go ahead and take item 5.07 in the consent agenda, number 13. We already have the motion. Thank you. We sure do.
We have the motion to remove 5.7, number 13.
All right, it's been amended by Ms. Williams, second by Ms. Chambers. To amend the motion to approve the consent agenda minus item 5.07, number 13. All right, all in favor of 5.07 of the consent, thank you, of the amendment. All in favor of the consent agenda amendment. All right, that passes, Ms. Jones. Now,
I have to approve 5.07,
number 13. All right, that motion by Ms. Williams to approve item 5.07, item number 13. Second by Ms. Buckner. All in favor? Oppose? All right, that passes. Now.
Move to adjourn.
You want to say something, Ms. Buckner? You always turn it off when I turn it on.
See, I don't speak loud enough,
Yes,
so I want to make sure I have my mic on. I like to offer a motion to excuse Dr. Sly.
Motion to excuse Dr. Sly by Ms. Buckner, second by Ms. Chambers. All in favor? All right.
And Ms. Green, I also would like to ask that the superintendent or you, whomever, to bring us back information on school board member attendance to board meetings. I like to see how many we could miss or how many electronic versus, I want to see how, how many meetings we could miss, and if that includes work sessions or how, because I think a lot of us, and I'm not sure on it, I know we have absenteeism, and I don't know what is required. I don't know how it's, so if you could just bring that back to us so that we all can know what is required of board members.
Thank you. And the next thing, Dr. Lewis, there was a great article in Georgia Stone highlighting the Muscogee County School District and our repository closet.
Yeah.
Can we get an update in August from Ms. Dawkins?
Let me write that note.
That was an excellent article.
Be
Ms.
happy
Chambers,
to.
you got a question?
Yes. I have a request as well. I'd like an update on what we're doing with our alternative school students. How has the program changed? There were some things that were missing personnel-wise and services-wise. How have we filled in those gaps?
By grades.
And, I'm sorry?
By grade.
Okay,
Dr. Lewis, go ahead.
ready?
Yes.
Okay, just want to bring everybody up to, just a reminder of some of the things I mentioned last week at the work session. Again, to all parents, just a reminder about the online registration process. If you've not done that, please help us and help you at the same time by completing the online registration. First day for teachers will be August the 1st. First day for students in the primary grades of pre-K through 2. Your first day is Friday, August the 5th, for you to be able to get acclimated to the new school year and your possibly new school if you're brand new to starting school. And the first day for all other students is going to be Monday, August the 8th. In addition, I just want to provide an opportunity for the community, and we'll be publicizing this as well. We will be hosting 2 ARP, which is the ESSER funds, updated plan for community meetings. Both of those will be right here in this boardroom. The first one will be Tuesday, August 16th at 5:30 p.m. And the second one will be on Wednesday, August the 17th at 12 noon. So depending on your work schedule, you can come at 5:30 on the 16th or at noon on the 17th. So again, we'll be publicizing those, but want to invite the community to be part of that process as well. And y'all will email those to us? Yes.
Can we also, and this may not be for the August meeting, maybe for the September meeting, but can we get an update on the building of the new school?
Well,
Dawson, St. Mary's.
Actually,
where
you're gonna get some information about the groundbreaking that'll happen before then. So
Okay, I'll call you.
You'll be getting a poll on what date we can do. We're looking at a couple tentative dates, so we'll share that with you.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to apologize for being out the last 3 meetings, between a week of twisting both my ankles and a week in the hospital 2 times, and then my wife coming down with pneumonia for this last 8 days. Been sort of a sick house at our place, sure has, and a lot of health, and just glad to be back, tell you the truth. It just, my wife still got a lot of ways to go, but she's home. But it was just really unbelievable, the turn of events since last June. One question I have here, and y'all probably answered, so I'm a little bit behind. The Wade Forward agenda, and I don't remember us voting a while ago, was this bidded out on these police cars, the 6 police cars that we got? Or was it, I know it's on probably the state contract, but I still like it to be bidded out to local if we can, because I always like the local to have a chance to win a bid if any way possible. Even though it might be on the state contract, I still like our local folks because they're the reason why we have the money to be able to buy these is because of the SPLOST. And just to see Wade Forward, and nothing against Wade Forward, great folks, but I do like the local folks to be able to have a chance to bid for it. And if they lose, they lose. But if they do win, at least we know we're supporting the local businesses here in town. And I missed out, y'all probably talked about it last week, but was any other dealer besides Wade Forward?
I think actually, here's Mr. Joseph coming forward. I think he can address that.
Thanks, sir.
As far as the bid process, everyone has an opportunity to bid on the state contracts.
Okay.
Everybody. But on, specific to our new police cars, for our expanded police force.
That's what I need to know, David. Thank you.
Good morning, or good evening. It's been a long day. We did, because of because of the specialized in the vehicles, we did reach out to the local vendors just to find out if this is something that they would be interested in bidding. And a couple of the vendors said because they're police vehicles, that they would not be competitive, nor would they be able to get the inventory. So that's why we went back to the state contract.
Do you know if these are police cars we're bidding on? Is this the same company? Would you know that we're the Columbus Police Department? Does Columbus Police Department buy it from the same company?
I do not have that answer.
Do not know, okay. Because I know
I can
they
look
buy a
into
lot
that.
more police cars than what we would. And I would think, we might want to, sometimes you say, it is our job to find out. Sometimes they might not be looking out for us, but it is our job to find out if we can save money. I mean, I know when I go out shopping, I don't wait for somebody to call me and say, oh, Mark, we got this for you, because they might not know that. So it's my job for my company to go out and find out if I can find a better price than that. And something like a police car, the first person I would have called was Columbus Police Department saying, where do you buy your cars from, to see if they could give you a better price, the company they get them from. Now, this is just a suggestion, but, I've got a decent-sized little company, and I know saving money is my main thing, but getting quality also. The best price is not always the best deal, but if you don't ask, you never know. And so, something like that, if they didn't see it on the bid sheet, does that mean that we shouldn't have called up somebody else who maybe goes with it? I bought some cars before, some trucks from Opelika Ford, compared to the Columbus Ford, because Opelika had thousands of dollars savings compared to what the Columbus dealership did. And, but they didn't reach out to me and say, oh, by the way, we're going to save you this money. So, I stress this because I think it's very important to try and keep our money as local as possible and also get the best dollar. And even if it takes an extra phone call.
Well,
that's just my opinion, sir.
Mr. Cantrell, I'll agree with you. We all want to try and keep his money local as much as possible. However, there's a difference between in your sector, your private sector, versus how we have to conduct business in the public sector. So we've gone through some of those issues before, and we're glad to have Mr. Ellington explain that at some point. But we've had some discussion about that. But there are specific rules that we have to follow in terms of the bidding process as a public entity versus the private sector. And we cannot set a price and then come back and try and undercut it after the bid.
I'm not saying cut it.
No, I'm just saying that that's what you described earlier was that, once a price has been set on a state contract, to come back and then ask somebody else if they can do it cheaper, that foregoes or usurps.
Excuse me, Dave. I'm not talking about that at all as far as saying, can you beat this price? Not at all. Okay. What I'm saying is, you got the state, and then can you call Opelika Ford? Can you call Columbus Ford? Stuff like that. I'm not saying beat the price, because that's unethical right there to tell somebody to beat the price, because that's what they're trying to do is give us the best price available right there. But not to make a phone call on a big ticket item. We're not talking about screws right here where you're ordering 1,000. You're talking about 6 police cars. And that's what I'm talking about right there. No, never would I say, can you beat the lowest price here that we've got $10,000 from the state bid? No, not at all.
I misunderstood, okay.
Okay, so I want to make sure that's clear right there. Mr. Joseph is an expert
in this process. He does it every day, all day. So.
And I just wanted to reiterate, I did say that we did contact local vendors to find out if they offer police vehicles.
That's good.
So we did contact the local vendors, and they said, no, we don't offer police vehicles. So because it's a specialized vehicle.
That's what I want to hear.
Yeah, so we did do that part. We did take care of that. We do go through due diligence on trying to find the best price, whether it's on state contract or off a state contract, and then that's when we engage with an invitation to bid. But first, we do our due diligence to check to see if there's even going to be players in the marketplace for these specialized vehicles.
And I'm not talking about going all across America. What I'm talking about is trying to keep our SPLOST dollars in Columbus, Georgia. And that's where I'm looking at, because, every Ford dealership is employing 100 people that work for Ford, but they're Columbus, Georgia residents. And so that's what I'm doing. But you hit it, that knocked it on the top. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, welcome.
Dr. Lewis, you got anything else? No, I don't know. All right. Did I hear a motion to adjourn? All right. All in favor? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you all so very much.